This is the WWE NXT September 24, 2024 full show results video. The show started with a match between Kalani Jordan vs Ren Sinclair for the NXT Women's North American Championship, and the result of this match was Kalani Jordan defeated Ren Sinclair by pinfall with the split-legged moonsault, retaining the NXT Women's North American Championship. We get a press conference where All Ego Ethan Page is interviewed, and he says pressure comes with being NXT champion and the face of the company with the brand on his back, but what separates him from everyone else is how he handles that pressure, a cut above. He puts Trick over for being a former champion and being very resilient, but doesn't think that's enough for him to win, and asked about CM Punk, he says he won't be a factor at all. Back from the commercial, CM Punk is backstage chatting with J. Yvonne Evans when Trick Williams rolls up and Punk wants to have a private conversation with him. Williams says he appreciates Punk stepping in and Ethan Page is gonna pull every dirty trick in the book, but he's not going down like that. CM says he deserves a fair match and he's going to call it down the middle and make sure the best man wins. He kind of hopes it's Trick, but he's not giving any favors, and they shake hands and appreciate each other about it. Grayson Waller is in the ring for the Grayson Waller effect, alongside Austin Theory, and Waller says they had to bring the big guns in for the last NXT on USA, and Theory says they're the greatest graduates of NXT and introduce Fraxium as their guests. They try to drive a wedge between the champions, but Nathan Fraser says they're past that and really A-Town Down Under are the team everyone thinks is going to explode. The heels fire back that they'll have no choice but to break up when they lose the titles next week, and Axiom points out all the teams they've beaten and that somehow they become the Grim Reapers of the tag division. Grayson fires back by pointing out that they've been performing on bigger stages under brighter lights. Fraser innocently asks why it's not the Grayson Waller and Austin Theory effect. Theory thinks that's a good idea, and Waller tries to defuse the situation by attacking the tag team champions. Backstage, Ashante the Adonis is walking around in the women's lounge looking for some poor girl to foist his stupid rose off on. Brindley Reese tells him to get out of here. He turns to Tatum Paxley and calls her a freak before trying to spin it to "I'm freaky too," and she says her heart is promised to another, and he wanders off to do his pickup artist nonsense somewhere else. The next match happened between Good Brothers vs Hank and Tank, and the result of this match was Hank and Tank defeated Good Brothers by pinfall with a pounce from Tank Ledger on Luke Gallows. Backstage, J. Yvonne Evans is gushing to Cedric Alexander about his match against Randy Orton in 2 weeks. Cedric tells him he's gonna need to prep and he's right here and Baytown Down Under roll up. They mock Alexander and Austin offers to help Evans given all of his success. Cedric talks trash and J. Yvonne says Uncle Ceddy's his dude, and if they want some action, oh my god, is that Kevin Owens? A-Town Down Under jump, but it was a ruse, and they try to recover their composure as the babyfaces walk. The next match happened between Lexus King vs Oro Mensah, and the result of this match was Oro Mensah defeated Lexus King by pinfall with a folding press with his feet on the ropes. The next match happened between Ridge Holland vs Riley Osborne, and the result of this match was Ridge Holland defeated Riley Osborne by pinfall with the captured DDT. Post-match, he puts boots on Osborne while Thea Hale screams at him from the apron, and Riley manages to recover and takes the fight to Ridge. The Miz cuts a promo on social media and says he'll be here next week for Miz TV with Oba Femi and Tony D'Angelo. Back from the commercial, Oba Femi gets a spot on the press conference and asked about Tony's training vignette. He says he can fool his family but not him, and he sees it in his eyes. He's broken. At this, Femi is done answering questions. Commentary tosses to the Lee Wens interview, which fell apart before it could even start, and Wens calls him a bitch and promises to beat the shit out of him. Lee insists that the separate rooms are for Zach's own protection. The trash talk intensifies. Wes tells him to make sure Gigi doesn't watch next week. Wentz tells him to keep his fiance's name out of his mouth, and Lee tells him where he is. Zachary gets up to go after him. Wes gets up to meet him, and they brawl as security tries to pull them apart. The next match happened between Brindley Reese and Carmen Petrovich vs Rosemary and Wendy Chu, and the result of this match was Rosemary and Wendy Chu won the match by pinfall when Carmen is distracted chasing Ashante Adonis and his stupid rose off, and Rosemary hit the capture sit-out mat slam on Brindley Reese. Ethan Page rolls up on CM Punk backstage and says he doesn't like him injecting himself as a referee. Punk appreciates his honesty, and Ethan says he's seen Punk be a referee. He's been where he's been, and he's not interested in dealing with any drama. CM says he's not going to allow any drama or cheating, and if he's the man on the night, he'll raise his hand high, but if he's not, he won't. The next match happened between A-Town Down Under vs Cedric Alexander and J. Yvonne Evans, and the result of this match was A-Town Down Under won the match by pinfall with A-Town Down from Austin Theory on J. Yvonne Evans. Back from the commercial, the press conference moves to the ring, with Byron Saxton presiding. Julia is asked about Roxanne Perez's title reign and if she thinks she's a worthy successor, and Perez immediately takes offense at the presumption that she's going to win. Julia answers in Japanese at some length and Funaki translates, explaining that Roxanne's time is up and she's come here to be champion. She's created her own opportunities, and in Chicago, it'll be a new era, and Roxanne is asked how this is different from any other match, and Perez admits she was a fan of Julia's before anyone else here and she's probably watched all of her matches. This is a dream match for Julia since she's never stepped in the ring with someone with the equity that Roxanne has. Julia is asked if the anticipation built around her arrival is making her overconfident, and answers in English that she feels good and moving to America has been incredible. She awkwardly pumps her fist to some USA chants and says it's a lot of new stuff, but it's not new that she's the most feared wrestler in the world. She shifts to Japanese, but another voice cuts her off. It's Stephanie Vaquer on the Tron, and Vaquer asks what they're going to do when she's waiting for her on the other side of this title match, and the show goes off the air.